What's going on? Tiger here. Today I want to talk about just living in Japan. You know, like what it's like. I feel like I'm kind of qualified because I lived all around Japan. I lived, you know, and worked in Tokyo. I lived in Osaka. I lived down south. And I've traveled across Japan by myself. So I know a lot about certain areas. I'm not like a professional in Japan, but I'm just saying I live in the country, in a big city. So let's talk about what it is like to live here. Let's start with like food sizes. Like the food sizes here is like way smaller. So like you get a thing of milk, it's like a little thing like this. Where in America, I'm gonna compare against America because in America, it's like this huge gallon. The funny thing is the price is the same though. But Japanese quality is a lot higher actually. The milk tastes better. In America you get a lot more milk, but it doesn't taste quite as good. So that's kind of the difference, but the price is exactly the same. That means Japanese people go shopping maybe 2 to 3 times a week, where Americans go shopping maybe once a week because they just like get their car and stock up. It's all about freshness. Japan's like typically more, I would say like, they prefer fresher stuff. They're in an island country, right? So they can go get fish, bring it back, and eat that fish that same day. So they're very used to such a culture here. I would say 70% of all food in Japan is pretty fresh, where America might be the opposite. Maybe like 30% is all fresh, and all the rest is more prepackaged, frozen food shipped from somewhere else. So it's just opposite culture overall. You know, America's huge, right? Huge population. You can take Japan, it's small, and you can like literally put it inside of California. Japan's like long, right? But it's kind of curvy and narrow. It's made up of 4 islands mainly, and it has like hundreds of islands surrounding it. So Japan's pretty small. So they have to make use of space as much as possible. Let's talk about like when you first come here. At least when I first came here, during college, I got an apartment, right? And all the apartments were pretty much the same, you know, rectangle shape. You know, like, I always find it amazing that all these, like, what does my apartment look like in Japan videos get so many views, because all the apartments are relatively, they all look the same. Like, you can only get to a certain size. So like that size point is $1,000. You pay $1,000 and you get to this size of whatever. It doesn't get bigger than that, especially in the city side. Only thing that goes up is your luxury and quality of life. So you might get more security at the gate, you might get like a heater for your bathtub, you might get a more beautiful Kile bathroom. That's all that goes up. There's a certain point where you just got to move into a condo, because condos are usually bigger, or a house. So let's talk about the size of people. Americans are typically either taller or wider. So like, that, which brings me to clothing size. When you're coming here and you're actually shopping for clothes, it could be slightly difficult to shop for clothes. I shop at Uniqlo and a few other places, but it kind of limits like what you can buy. Japan is really good for guys like style, in my opinion. America has some pretty good style too as well, but you know, at least when I'm in America, I actually fit the clothes. When you come here, it's like, oh, look at that really cool sweater, or that cool whatever, but I can't fit it because everyone here is predominantly really, you know, really slender and really skinny. So yeah, so keep that in mind when you come here, that you'll have to deal with size differences, and you might have to order your clothing online depending on how tall you are. If you're like really like 6'8" or something, or 7 foot, they do have big and tall shops. You just gotta look around. It's not that common, but you might have to order all your clothes online. So, same with shoes. You know, if your feet are too big, you might have to order your shoes, again, online. Let's go with culture. Japanese tend to be like really conservative and stuff, you know? So they're really quiet, they're really reserved. Typically when there's a problem, they don't really say much, right? So you might be being rude, not really know it, and they might not say anything. Majority of the time they do not. I've seen a lot of foreigners talking really loudly, and Japanese, they might glare at you like a little bit, but they don't say nothing, you know. So I'm just saying, keep that in mind, you know. But at the same time, like that's predominantly more, I would say, in Tokyo. Especially Osaka, they like talking, they enjoy good conversation. There's been times when I was in the train and they were talking so loudly that I was listening to music, I couldn't even hear the music. For me, it was just more of a surprise. I didn't really care. But I was surprised that they talked so lively, loudly, and happily. So, but we were coming just from USJ, like a theme park. So maybe that's why they were happy. Let's talk about vehicles. Vehicles in Japan are a lot smaller than America, which also means roads and stuff is really more smaller as well. Especially like in the countryside, you'll find that when you're walking through houses in the countryside, it's like a maze some places. Like Japan has areas where they didn't really prepare well. They just put things down wherever, so it's like a maze. And a lot of the newer stuff, which you'll find more in the city side, you actually get the grid pattern, so you can find your way anywhere easily. So of course, for me, I prefer the city side just because it's just more convenient and I can get anywhere I need to quickly by train. In the countryside, you need a car. You need a car. It's like wide open spaces. Unless you want to walk 15 miles just to go to the store, you need a car. City side, you don't need a car. It's inconvenience. It costs money, parking, insurance. People drive crazy. Yeah, so... And I think that's all I want to talk about. I wasn't going to talk about restaurants a bit, but just one thing. It's like, if you go to an American restaurant in Japan, you're more likely to get more American cultural service, such as like McDonald's. Like, so if I go to McDonald's right now and I get a Big Mac, and I'm like, look, can I get no pickles? They're going to say, okay. Can I get extra cheese? Okay. So American restaurants such as McDonald's, or I wouldn't call Starbucks restaurants a cafe, they might be able to alter certain things for you. So, but if you go to anything Japanese style, they don't really alter stuff. So just keep that in mind. So if you order like a steak with fries with this and this and this, you can't really go, I don't want this, and change this. They don't really do that here. So again, that's just a cultural thing. Okay, anyways, that's it for this video. I'm sure there's a few things I missed. If you live in Japan and you're watching this video and you think there's something I missed, you can go ahead and add in the comment section below and just let me know. And other people, if you like the video, thumbs up, and please subscribe. Peace until next video.